Here is the Warhammer 40K timeline in a nutshell. Well, I say nutshell, but it's 40K, so that's gonna be a hell of a nut to crack. So let's get into it. 13.7 billion years ago. So with every timeline, we always start at the beginning, the Big Bang and the creation of the universe. 13 to 10 billion years ago. Over time, the super hot cosmic soup coalesced to form stars, and also the living star gods, the Catan, begin to form. 10 to 5 billion years ago, the first forms of life emerged, and with it the formation of the Immaterium, which is essentially a subspace constituted by soul energy. More than 5 billion years ago, the emergence of the highly advanced reptilian Old Ones and their quest of seeding life in various planets throughout the galaxy. 70 to 60 million years ago, the evolution and the rise of the Necron tier species, which suffered a short diseased lifespan due to their hyper-radioactive star. Over 60 million years ago, first contact with the reptilian Old Ones, and then shortly after, the first conflict began in what will be the war in heaven between the Necrons and the Old Ones. Around 60 million years ago, after being beaten back and quarantined in their homeworld, the Necron tier species made first encounters with the Catan star gods. Around the same time, shortly after the first contact, the Catan offered to cure the Necron tier of their ailment, and through biotransference, they lost their souls and became the metallic robots called the Necrons. Shortly afterwards, with the Catan at their sides, the Necrons start winning the war, and the Old Ones engineer the Krogs and the Eldar to be their foot soldiers. Then later, after the Catan devoured each other, the Necrons rebelled and destroyed the rest of the remaining Catan star gods and made them into shards. Around the same time, due to the war and corruption of the Immaterium, the Enslaver's Plague was unleashed into real space, and the Old Ones were wiped out by the psychic predators, the Enslavers. Around 60 million years ago, with the Old Ones gone and the Necron numbers reduced due to their rebellion, the Necrons decided to go into stasis hibernation for millions of years. So after 60 million years ago, with the Necrons gone, came the rise of the Eldar Empire, and the lack of war led to the devolution of the Krogs into the primitive, weaker Orcs. Around the same time, due to the war in heaven, the excess of war and hardship led to the birth of demons and chaos gods in the warp, as well as the Eldari gods. 300,000 to 40,000 years ago, fast forwarding millions of years, and we reach into the next milestone, the evolution of humanity as a primitive species on Earth, one of the planets seeded with life by the Old Ones. 8000 BC, a ritual by shamans combining their psychic energies led to the birth of the Emperor of Mankind, a perpetual at that time who would never die. The early 3rd millennium, fast forwarding again thousands of years, we reach into the early days of interplanetary travel and colonization by humans, with Mars being the first to be terraformed. The late 3rd millennium, this is when the first human extrasolar voyage is sent into deep space with the aim of establishing the first colony in another star system. The 3rd to the 10th millennium, during these many thousands of years, humanity expanded and colonized countless worlds using sublight speed cryoships. The 15th millennium, beginning of the Age of Technology, or the Dark Age of Technology, where humans with the help of AI, advanced ones, made strides in science and technology unseen before by any race. The 15th to the 18th millennium, it is during this time frame that the founding of the Night Worlds in various sectors of the galaxy was recorded. The 18th millennium, the warp drive was first discovered and engineered by humanity, and human navigators begin to emerge and become pilots to guide the ships through the Immaterium. The 20th millennium, with no other species able to challenge their hegemony, the peak of the Eldari Empire was reached, and the Eldar race could create and destroy systems at will. The 21st millennium, it is during this age that the standard template constructs begin the creation of the first titans, which serve as the monstrous war machines for humanity. The 22nd millennium, humanity's first contact with the Orcs and the Eldari, with the Orc invasion being defeated by ancient heroes in the edge of the solar system in a dwarf planet called Setna. The 23rd millennium, this marks the decline of the Dark Age of Technology and the cybernetic revolt in which the Men of Iron rebelled against their human masters. The 24th millennium, with the cybernetic revolt, the squat worlds in the center of the galaxy became isolated, and also the decadence of the Eldari marked their decline as the galactic superpower. The 25th millennium, the end of the dark age of technology of humanity and the beginning of the Age of Strife. The 28th millennium, with humanity devolving into warring tribes, this led to the emergence of the Emperor from obscurity in order to bring order to the entire species. The 29th millennium, with increasing decadence within their civilizations, the Eldari Exodites and the Eldari craft worlds depart from their empire into the fringes of the galaxy. The late 29th millennium, to take over Terra, the Emperor created the Thunder Warriors and also started the Primarch project, with the superhumans being designed based on his image. The 30th millennium, the Emperor of Mankind began the Unification Wars in order to reunite the warring Terran tribes under one banner. Later in the same millennium, the hedonism and decadence of the Eldar brought about the birth of Slanesh, with a psychic scream that decimated countless Eldari worlds, and the Eye of Terror was created, a rift between real space and the Immaterium, and this also marks the Dark Eldar origins. The late 30th millennium, the premature awakening of the first Necron tomb world, and the Necrons witnessing the beginning of the Great Crusade. Year 700 of the 30th millennium, first founding of the Space Marines and the creation of the Astartes legions, supplanting the Thunder Warriors as the main weapon of the Emperor. Year 712 of the 30th millennium, the end of the Unification Wars and the beginning of humanity to look towards the stars in order to reunite the rest of the human species. Year 739 of the 30th millennium, the Treaty of Mars and the Mechanicum, recognizing the Emperor as the Omnissiah, the machine god incarnate in flesh. Year 792 of the 30th millennium. It is unclear as to the cause, but something led to the scattering of the Primarchs across the galaxy into various different worlds. Year 798 of the 30th millennium, the beginning of the Great Crusade and the unification of humanity into the Imperium of Man. Year 800 to year 999 of the 30th millennium, reclaiming the lost Primarchs, beginning with Horus being the first to be found and Alpharius Omegon as the last. The first year of the 31st millennium, defeat of the Orcs of Ullanor by the Imperium and the Emperor retreating back to Terra in order to focus on the Webway project. Year 004 to 014 of the 31st millennium, the events of the Horus Heresy, which ended in half the Astartes legions becoming the Chaos Space Marines, the Emperor in life support, and Horus obliterated into nothingness. Year 544 of the 31st millennium, with humanity weakened, a strange new type of Orc called the Prime Orcs waged a war called the War of the Beasts and nearly destroyed Terra but was beaten back. Year 597 of the 31st millennium, the second Black Crusade with War Master of Chaos, Abaddon the Despoiler, launching his second offensive against the Imperium of Man. The 35th millennium, the Adeptus Mechanicus search for lost STCs and technology led to their discovery of the Tau as a primitive species in a far-flung system in the galaxy. The 36th millennium, the Age of Apostasy. It was a second period of interstellar civil war that consumed the Imperium of Man, the first being the Nova Terra Interregnum. Mid-37th millennium, the Tau species evolved at a rapid rate and colonized their moon, with them being in the Stone Age just a couple of thousand years prior. Year 844 of the 38th millennium, the union of the Tau and the Kroot into the Tau Empire, which had already begun expanding into nearby star systems a few hundred years prior. Year 1 of the 39th millennium, the 10th Black Crusade, a joint campaign of the Forces of Chaos that was led by Abaddon the Despoiler and the Daemon Primarch Perturabo. Year 500 of the 41st millennium, the Necrons' Great Awakening with the return of the Silent King and the numerous tomb worlds becoming active again. Year 741 to 745 of the 41st millennium, first Tyranid contact when the Hive fleet known as Behemoth invaded the eastern fringe and annihilated a planet called Tyran, thus getting their name. Year 999 of the 41st millennium, Abaddon's 13th Black Crusade, the greatest yet, which led to the destruction of the Cadian Gate and the planet of Cadia, thereby causing a great rift, splitting the Empire into two. Later in the same year, the Great Awakening of human psychers in large numbers as a counterforce due to the psychic energy emanating from the Great Rift. Also later in that same year, a major conflict being waged by the Tyranid High Fleet, Leviathan, and the powerful Orc Empire Octarius begins, thus being named the Octarius War. The end of the 41st Millennium, the resurrection of Primarch Ruburi Gilliman, creation of the Primaris Space Marines, and the beginning of the Indomitus Crusade, marking a new timeline called the Era Indomitus. The beginning of the 42nd Millennium, the war in the Pariah Nexus begins, and with the Imperial forces and the Ultramarines battling the Necrons, with zero communications with the rest of the Imperium due to a psychic silence. And lastly, in the beginning of the 42nd Millennium, the awakening of Lion L. Johnson, another Primarch, from the mobile fortress called the Rock to lead the Dark Angels in order to revamp and force multiply the Indomitus Crusade. So that's the timeline. I hope you have enjoyed watching this video. Do hit the like button for support and subscribe, but most of all smash that bell icon for regular updates on new videos right here on this channel. Till the next one, take care boys.